All right, good evening and welcome to the April 22nd regular board meeting for the Wenatchee School District. We will open the meeting with a pledge of allegiance. Esta junta se lleva a cabo en inglés, pero contamos con servicio de traducción. Si alguien gusta hacer un comentario público o recibir explicaciones en español, por favor, indique su necesidad. All right. The first item on our agenda is this evening is to swearing in of our newly appointed board member, Mark Belton. We are fortunate to have the Honorable Travis Brandt. Thank you. Here with us to administer the oath of office. Thank you, Judge, for being here. Please, Mark and Judge Brandt, come forward to the board table for the swearing-in ceremony.
You solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Washington, and I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of the office of Wenatchee School District number 246, School Board Director, District 4, to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
Got all of his lines. I definitely forgot one. Happened at my wedding too.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent. Thanks, Judge Brandt. All right, your seat awaits.
All right, full complement of board members. Now we're gonna work through the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda or modifications? All right, hearing none, I will now move on to the consent agenda. The items on the consent agenda were sent to the board and posted online last week. The board, I was like, candy? God, just
Distraction.
seriously, squirrel. Has had the opportunity to review the materials and ask the superintendent any questions they have had about any items on the consent agenda. Consent agenda for this meeting includes minutes for the 3/25/25 regular meeting, 3/26/25 special meeting, 4/1/25 regular meeting, and 4/3/25 special meeting. Vouchers and payroll, personnel report, surplus report, contracts, February financial report, and the April enrollment report. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second that motion.
All right, it has been moved by Julie and seconded by Martin. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of adopting consent agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. No citizen comment? All right, so no citizen comment tonight. So that means Corey, you're up for special presentations.
Excellent. Let's start with our ASB reports. Do we have West Side representation? Not yet, so we may come back to that. Okay, do we have representation from Wenatchee High School for an ASB report? Okay, well, we will go ahead and move on to our special presentations, and if Gabe shows, then we'll jump right back in there. Okay, well, wonderful. Please welcome Alfonso Lopez to share a little bit about the winter indoor soccer opportunities that he has created for the Wenatchee School District to provide another outlet for students to engage in healthy and productive activities. And I believe he's got a slide presentation that he'll be sharing as well. And I think we have some parents and maybe some participants here in the crowd. So thank you all for being here today. And Alfonso, I believe you have the clicker there at your disposal.
Thank you very
You
much.
have the power.
Dear Wenatchee School District Board members, dear Mr. Corey Kalahar, Dr. Corey Kalahar, and our new board member, welcome. You're joining a great team. I can testify for that. And also, dear Cabinet, thank you for being here, and people that have come to, thank you. These meetings are really important, and I'm honored to be here to present to you one of the activities that the Wenatchee School District is doing for the community, especially for our youth. I'm going to talk to you today about the youth indoor soccer. Just to begin with the presentation, I wanted to let you know that in my years as an educator here in the U.S., I have seen a trend in changing what the new generations are playing more and more, and that is soccer. For whatever reason, maybe because the influx of Latinos or whatever the reason is, in schools, more and more and more kids, males and females, are playing soccer. With that being said, I'm going to talk to you about the beginning of this activity that we started pretty much 2 years ago. This is the beginning. When I took this new position as Director of Hispanic and Latino Relations, some staff members from the Wenatchee School District and myself, including Dr. Corey Kalahar, we started meeting with the community because the issues with gangs and shootings and graffiti and violence and all of those things kept happening. So we had an opportunity to meet with the community and also Eastmont School District. So when we met with families, one of the requests, one of the questions they had to school districts was, what are you guys doing to prevent these problems to keep happening, especially gangs? At that time, if I remember correctly, one young person had been shot. Anyways, a way to respond to that, obviously, the Wenatchee School District is doing activities already. We are doing several activities, not only sports, but academics, after school, several things we are doing. But I know that in the winter is when our youth, our kids, even our adults, don't have a chance to do these healthy activities. Why? One of the main reasons is that we don't have facilities that meet the needs of these adults and kids. At that point, others and myself, we took the task of looking for a place where we could get together these young students, even adults, and start practicing this sport to keep occupied our kids and with something that obviously was going to keep them away from those bad activities. We have dreamed for years, I have, to have a facility like this in town. We don't have one in town like this that could meet the need of a lot of youth and adults, not only for soccer, but for other sports as well, especially in the winter. Anyways, we don't have facilities, so I had the opportunity to talk with Dr. Corey Kalahar and then the principal of the high school, Eric. And I had a chance to get one of the gyms from our school, from our schools, to practice this sport. And that was Foothills Middle School. Thankfully, the Wenatchee School District allowed us to start a league in the winter for kids and for adults. In a partnership, the Wenatchee School District and also the community, we took upon to start a new Wenatchee Indoor Soccer League at Foothills, having the gym on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. It was the entire day to meet the needs of these many players that wanted to play. So we created this league, Wenatchee Indoor Soccer League. And we created a motto. Our motto is educate yourself, stay in schools, play fair, and enjoy your league. That is our motto. Many people followed our steps. And then this last winter, we just ended playing at the end of March. 22 teams participated, and there are many more, but they couldn't participate because the day only has these many hours. And especially Sundays, because during the other days, the gyms are busy. So we took all Sunday, 22 teams participated, 266 players participated, 22 coaches, and I'm not counting the referees and other people, volunteers and all of that, but actively 286 people participated. It's a good number, it's a good group, and that was done from October to March. So there are like 4 months right there. Many families attended the games every Sunday. Our Wenatchee School District communicated directly with them because members of our staff went to the games and we had a chance to talk to the parents. And we talked to them about the importance of working together. Because we educate kids not only through academics, we educate kids through sports as well. There are so many things that they can learn through sports. Besides, we keep them busy and away from these bad activities. So we had a chance, members of the Wenatchee School District, to talk to them. And I attribute a good connection with the community to pass the levy, because we talked about the levy several times. And this applies perfectly because we were using a facility that is supported by these monies. So people understood and people, I'm sure, voted for it. Anyways, I also took it on social media to communicate with parents because many parents want to know about this sport, how many kids are participating. They want to see their kids in the articles. They want to see actually, they want to watch the games. So I created my own Facebook page. That is Wenatchee Football News. Now, if you are curious and want to check it out, you're going to see that now thousands of people are coming to this page to see what is happening. And this is my venue. This is my means to communicate with the community and with people, not only about sports, but also about what is happening in the Wenatchee School District. Mr. Byrne has been there. He can testify what he saw. Actually, he wanted to play soccer. I challenged him, but he said later. Anyways, that is the way I'm keep communicating with the community through this Facebook page, and I keep writing articles. I keep the community informed of what is happening. So what is next? After we tested this activity that includes a lot of kids and a lot of adults, what is next is we're going to promote this sport, and we are going to promote education through the sport. We are going to promote the Wenatchee School District working with the community as we are doing. So next Sunday, we are going to be participating in the Kids Parade for the very first time with this Wenatchee Kids Indoor Soccer League. So I'm excited. The main reason is that I'm doing something that I really like, and is connecting the Wenatchee School District with the community with something that I believe most of us value. All of us probably value, because it has a lot of value working with kids this way. With that, I invited also a couple of coaches that took upon teams and they came to testify if they liked it or they didn't. And they are coaches and they brought a couple kids. The kids can tell us if they like it or not. If they don't, we can cancel it. But I like to invite Mr. Cody Jones and also Mr. Jason Gonzalez to come to the mic and just share briefly, because we don't have that much time, their experiences. Please come. Mr. Jason Gonzalez.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us here tonight. And I just want to say thank you to the Wenatchee School District for allowing Alfonso to go forward with this. This is amazing for these boys. I've been in soccer, and the winter is one of the seasons where they work all summer. 3 weeks, 4 weeks with them not doing nothing just kills all that. And the kids look forward to it. Me as a soccer team this season going in, I seen a big difference in these boys. And, it's the future stars of the youth. We got to keep them moving, motivated. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jones.
I'd also like to thank you for the time in the gym, because I'd like to liken it to like during summer vacation, after everybody comes back from summer vacation, they're so sluggish. They worked really, really hard all winter long. And this gave them a perfect opportunity to keep their skills up, get a lot of exercise in, and they would have not had that otherwise. There'd have been a lot more video games and stuff that we really don't want them doing. But I really appreciate it, and thank you for letting us have this opportunity.
Well, thank you to both of them. But like I said, we have many other coaches as well that stepped up and they said we're going to. But also the kids, they are obviously the present and the future of this nation. And to educate them through sports is another way to make sure that they are going to be citizens that are well prepared to serve. So I'd like to invite Levi just to tell us if you like this sport, because I'm about to say no more if you don't like it. Do you like this sport?
Yeah,
Why do you like it?
it's just fun. It's gotten my interest.
Yeah. Are you planning to continue playing?
Yeah.
Which team? Your dad's team?
Mhm.
Will he allow you to play with another team?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good dad. So thank you very much, Levi. And now, obviously, Parker took the time as well. So please come, Parker. And just let us know if you like the sport, if you like it, why.
Yes, I like this sport.
Yeah, why?
And I like it because it's just fun. It's fun. It just is in my interest.
You are the next Messi, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Parker. With that, I'm just telling you that we are touching lives, youth and adults, because also adults are participating in this tournament. So again, I want to thank from the bottom of my heart to all the ones that have made possible to use the Wenatchee School District facilities. And we will continue. You'll hear us more because now we're going outside with the league. I want to thank you. And if you have questions, I don't know if there is time for that or comments.
Yeah, we have time. Yeah.
I just want to say thank you. This is a great example of how, the school district reached out to the community. The community came with a solution and it was executed very nicely. So congratulations, Mr. Lopez. Congratulations to our coaches. Everybody, this situation is where everybody wins. And I'm sure you invested a lot of time into this project. And I just thank you.
Thank you very much for your nice comments.
Well, I just want to take a moment to thank our coaches and the players for coming today. And I really want to give a shout out to Alfonso. Alfonso has a lot of this is a skeleton crew. It's Alfonso, it's his family, it's his friends, and it has grown. And so one of the things that we need to work on is what does the sustainability of the program look like? And how do we support that? Because literally Alfonso is there, he sets up, he takes down, he organizes. He's the custodial. He's also the announcer through all the games as well. And then he does all the promotional activities as well. So we need to make sure that we're supporting Alfonso in this work and continuing to have it be sustainable. So thank you for sharing tonight, my friend.
So
We
thank you,
appreciate you.
Dr. Callahan. No questions. So thank you very much.
I love it. Excellent. So up next in our special programs, as you know, we have begun our project at Wenatchee Valley Technical Skills Center, and we have contracted with the Klosh Group for our project management. And two representatives of our team are here tonight. So we have Matt and Kayla from Klosh Group, and they're here to share an update on where we are with the project. And thank you both for being here. Yeah, thank you. All right, and we should have a slide deck up shortly, and Matt, you should have the clicker right there.
All righty.
Yeah, so while that's getting pulled up, we would like to introduce ourselves. So my name's Matt Piano. This is Caleb Van Leeshout. We're both project managers with Klosh Group, an owner's rep firm that provides construction management services. So yeah, we're gonna, like Dr. Callahar said, we're gonna talk to the Wenatchee Valley Technical Skills Center Modernization Project. Yeah, first and foremost, just thank you, right? We are incredibly excited to be a part of this project. So thank you to the board, thank you to the community. We're thrilled to be working with the team kind of led by Dr. Callahar and Pete. It's going to be a great journey, and we're excited about that process, but also kind of the end product that'll come with it. So without further wait here. Okay, so yeah, here's the agenda for our slide deck tonight. So Kayla will kind of kick us off discussing Progressive Design Build 101 and the benefits as they pertain to this project. We'll also kind of briefly highlight the project review committee, kind of the steps we went through to get there and be approved in that process. I will kind of take it over and walk through project scope, project goals and benefits, and the schedule, and then kind of give it back to Kayla to wrap up with the budget and summary. So. Yeah.
Excellent. I hate to interrupt, but Liz, do we need them to be a little bit closer to the microphone? Yeah, we have, this is recorded for YouTube and it's on Zoom right now. So our audience might have trouble hearing. So not to steal your thunder, you're doing good. Thank you.
We could hear.
Yes,
Okay.
we could definitely
But
hear
yes,
it.
yes.
Yes.
And one quick point, please ask questions as we go. We do have a slide deck at the end for questions, but if anything comes up, just ask as we go.
Yes, absolutely. Like Matt said, my name's Kayla Van Leeshout, project manager with Klosh Group, and we are super excited to be here and present to you for our first time. So I want to start off with giving you guys a little bit of background of the contract model and what we've been doing over the last couple of months. So, oh, that's okay. Okay, so there's several different contract models you can go through when you start a construction project. And the traditional method is called design, bid, build. But after we have met with the team, walked the site, understood the scope of the project, we settled on the best method as progressive design build. This is kind of a hot model right now. It's happening all over the place. So maybe familiar to some, but I just wanted to go through what big picture, what that model is, and how it's going to benefit for us for this project. So this progressive design build allows for a collaborative selection process. So we are in the middle of that process right now. We've sent out a request for qualifications to get interest from contractors and design teams in the area. And it starts with evaluating their qualifications. So we don't talk about cost of project, anything like that. It's looking at what their skill set is as a firm, what experience they've had in different projects, where they're located. There's a whole set of criteria for evaluation. So that's where it starts with. It also allows flexibility with the design and integration of the project. We know the goals of what we want to try to accomplish, and we will be able to work with the team that we select to narrow those down, prioritize them, and ultimately maximize the benefit and get as much as we can for the value that we have. It also has a reduced procurement risk. It is not it's a very desirable method for contractors and designers. People are interested. They love working in progressive design build, so that helps boost that interest, which gives us more options and makes it more competitive. And we're seeing that. Matt's going to go through general timeline, but I'll do a spoiler alert here. Since we're in our request for qualifications, we had a pre-bid walk last week. And there was a huge turnout of contractors and design teams. Damon, our colleague, he led that walk, and he said, looking at the tally sheet, there's over 30 companies on there. That doesn't mean 30 separate parties we have to evaluate because contractors and designers pair up. But still, we could have as much as 15 proposers that we're going to be evaluating, which is an awesome thing. So we're excited about that interest, and that's definitely a positive for the group. And then the last item on there, cost and contract finalization. So we start the evaluation by looking at qualifications, and then we start working on design and finalizing costs. So that comes as opposed to other methods. You may get a proposal with the cost. That's it. You're evaluating all that at once. No back and forth, no collaboration. But this progressive design build method allows for that collaboration. So that final price or guaranteed maximum price will come later in the process. So this dives further into benefits. And I touched a little bit on that collaboration and scope. It really does allow us to hone in on the scope, evaluate kind of the like must-haves, like need to have, nice to haves, and go through that with the school district. It also brings in the contractor early in the process so that they're involved in discussions on phasing, you have a active campus, so what's the safety when they go through these projects? They can look at all of that and help provide that input and really own that process. Early collaboration, what I spoke about, we can do target value design and also work through what we call value engineering, where we can, parse out different like scope, understand pricing, decide if that's something that it would be a benefit, or if there's ways we can brainstorm and save costs to bring those down. So that's a collaborative effort. The contractor does constructability reviews, which is important so that as the design is progressing, they're looking at the building, understanding existing conditions, making sure that what's being designed, they can actually go build, and it's not gonna, they're not gonna run into huge roadblocks. And then there's a risk management aspect. Again, with that collaboration, identifying our risks and being able to hone in on that and mitigate as much as possible. There's an element with progressive design build that helps you expedite the schedule. they can work with the design team to do smaller design packages or rollouts in phases, so they can start one portion before the design's finished on another scope of work. And that will really help with this project on the different areas that we're touching. And it gets them working and building faster. The alternative is you design the entire thing, which takes a lot longer, and then they start construction on everything, which may end up having to be a phased construction approach. Anyway. Cost control, that's, further dives into that collaboration of value engineering, understanding procurement, having the contractor and designer on early, they can identify if there's any procurement issues in the market. They can help identify those and provide guidance on if we need to start, making decisions or do early procurement. And that will ultimately help kind of expedite the schedule. Scope maximization, it goes back to the prioritization list that we'll come up with, and really looking at the areas that we need to focus on, and then how can we bring in the most of that scope through that design process. And then streamline management is a huge benefit. Traditional methods and also GCCM is another method. The contractor has one contract with you guys, and then the designer has a separate contract, and you're like the middleman. And in this approach, the contractor and the designer, they come together in a joint venture and they work together. So we don't have to be that middleman. They, work collaboratively as a team. That was kind of a lot about the background of progressive design build. I'm happy to answer any questions if you guys have them, or we can wait to the end as well. The next slide I'll talk to is what we've gone through, our efforts the last few months. So Clash Group came on, I believe, in January, and we dove right into understanding, doing walks, understanding scope. And we had to, if we chose to go with progressive design build, we needed to go through a process to get approval through the state, and it's called the Project Review Committee, or the PRC. So this is an entity, it's based out of Olympia, and they evaluate projects and give you permission to do an alternative contract method. So some things, there's an effort to pull together a pretty lengthy application. So we worked collaboratively with the school district, and that was submitted in February. And then there's a presentation and an interview kind of question portion a month later that happened in March. So in that process, the Project Review Committee, they review all of those applications. They do have rotating, they have different groups that evaluate different projects. It is also open to the public, so anybody can tune in to that meeting. It's completely held virtually. And there's two application types you can do for the Project Review Committee. We did the first one, which is applying for approval to use progressive design build specifically for this project. So that's what we submitted on. They primarily evaluate, they're looking at experience. They want to make sure that you guys understand what progressive design build is, and that us as an owner's rep also have experience and know what progressive design build is, so that when we go into this contract model, we all know what to expect, and it goes smoothly and it's not a surprise. The other thing that they look at is just like the readiness. They want to hear from us on, what's been going into, what's the thought behind this project, on the scope, on the budget, on everything, on just like prepping, education for the school district on knowing what they're getting into. So that's what they're kind of looking at overall. And then public transparent, like I said, it is open to the public, so publics can contest it, they can provide support. When we presented in March, we had several contractors actually voice comments at the end of our presentation with major support for the project and for going progressive design build. So that was great to hear. And then lastly, we got approved and we're moving forward, and it was a unanimous approval from the PRC. So that got us into our next step, which is now outreach for our design builder. Okay, I'm gonna hand it off to Matt to talk about the project scope and schedule.
Thanks, Kayla. Yeah, this is the fun part, right? So just kind of quick highlight. So for building A, right, just a highlight of current conditions and then the proposed scope. So as you know, if there's any students in the room, you know, the building A is the oldest building on the campus. There are some unfinished areas and some of the outdated classroom infrastructure doesn't exactly align with industry standards. So really for the building scope, you know, it's aligning kind of with that 10-year capital plan for phases 3A, 3B, and 4. Can kind of see some of the you know, the numbers there as far as the modernization effort and the square foot expansion. But, you know, like the big thing I want to talk to is the new classroom development that we're going for here as far as fire science and culinary. You know, really the intent that we're gonna work collaboratively with the progressive design build team is building kind of a state-of-the-art learning environment for students and for the staff, right? The goal here is to build and impact current but also future generations of students at the tech center. We're going to be working on a fire science apparatus bay, and then really in an effort to improve some of the kind of the overall building flow, kind of like the vestibule area, and then the lobby entrance, doing some work with the conference center and the student lounge. So really just a big effort to modernize the space and, you know, focus on what the current need is for students, and then how we can kind of provide a beneficial solution for that, falling within the scope outlined here. So here's just kind of a quick high level proposed floor plan. But, you know, really as Kayla kind of spoke to, a big part of like the progressive design build approach is to collaboratively work with the design team, the contractor team, and kind of make the constructability effort match the budget, match the scope, and match the design capability. All right, so jumping over to building B here. Same format. So current conditions, right? It's a repurposed warehouse. So there's inherent challenges there as far as how it impacts students and the staff. Mezzanine does remain unfinished. So really trying to, you know, for the school district's purpose, for the community, for the students, maximize space utilization, right? That's crucial. And then we're going to provide kind of some additional access, you know, ADA, HVAC, and fires, and improve some fire safety deficiency. So a big part of our effort there is complete construction of the primary stairs and the elevator. On the elevator side, the building foundation does have an elevator pit, which is a big benefit, right? A lot less work on that front and a lot less cost. So we'll work kind of in conjunction with the PDB team to get that going. And then mezzanine development. I mean, we were up there. It's an awesome space, right? There's a lot of potential, and we want to bring that to life, and we want to get students involved on that front. And then some additional parking to kind of support, you know, future medical occupations, dental occupations, ALE labs, so kind of future, I guess, tech center courses. Once again, kind of a high level proposed floor plan. You know, as we work through some of the high level design, these will get a little bit better, a little more granular, but we just wanted to give you guys an idea of what to expect. Okay, so kind of briefly hit on it a little bit, but yeah, the benefits and the goals of the project, right? It's really a two-part effort. What we want to modernize the spaces that are outdated, kind of addressing any immediate health and safety concerns, and creating a suitable education space for current students. But we also want to expand and modernize and create this like state-of-the-art learning hub, right, to attract future students, you know, and really take advantage of these types of programs, because I think we could probably all agree. I mean, in today's day and age, these are very important, right? And they impact the community for generations to come. And then, yeah, just some future growth. And, you know, a lot of this was, we kind of took from that 10-year capital plan, but accommodating additional students by 2031, and aligning infrastructure and program expansion with enrollment growth and workforce needs. So kind of taking a look and really working with Dr. Kalahar and Pete on gauging the market and really putting an emphasis on making the space compatible with future expansion, if there's an opportunity for that. Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit of the schedule here. So this is kind of a high level, but really just the next 90 days, if you will. So Kayla kind of hit on a lot of it as far as progressive design build and the procurement process. So as Kayla mentioned, right now the RFQ has been advertised. So thank you to Diana and your communications team for helping us out with that. But we did just have that non-mandatory pre-proposal conference. Great attendance. I mean, standing room only. So we're really excited. And as the individual who's been sending out the RFQs, a lot of emails. So that's a good thing. And we like competition, and that will really, that makes the job go, you're going to get the best PDB team for this project, which is just, it makes scope, budget, it makes everything better. So we're really excited about that. So statement of qualifications will be due May 5th. So at that point, we will get with Dr. Kalahar, Pete, and kind of the selection committee. They will go through a grading process on these. We will shortlist no less than 2, no more than 4 firms. So it'll probably be difficult to get down to those numbers, but that kind of creates the best case as we move into the interview phase and then the RFP phase, which will have these PDB teams submitting formal proposals on the project as well. Interviews are just a great opportunity for the selection committee to get that kind of like face-to-face time with the PDB team, kind of talk through high-level programming and get a good feel for that in-person environment. The RFPs will be submitted in early June. Shortly after the RFPs are due, we do go through the grading process with the selection committee, and then there's a public fee opening. So like Kayla mentioned, like cost is probably the lowest factor in this. So we've got pretty much the format written up. They'll provide their fee in an envelope. We'll open it, we'll put it into the spreadsheet, and that's kind of how we'll have guidance going forward. After that point, we'll move to kind of some of those initial contract negotiations, and the intent here is to have a contract over to Dr. Kalahar and the rest of the team in early to mid-June, so that for their review, and then get it over to the board for approval by June 24th. All right, we'll now move into more of like kind of the design and construction, which is a tentative approach. Once again, a big part of PDB is bringing in those teams, having those collaborative conversations and working through that. So after the contract approval in late June, we would move into a validation phase essentially with the PDB team. And then kind of starting right around August, September is when we would go to early phase package design. So that'll push us into December. At that point, we will initiate some of our early kind of permitting, which will be subsequently followed by like some of that early phase construction start. So like Kayla mentioned, PDB is great because you can do concurrent design and construction, which is great for schedule acceleration and like phasing accommodations, right? And we'll work actively with Pete, with the district as a whole to make sure that we are phasing appropriately to ensure students are uninterrupted, students and staff are uninterrupted. We'll push, that'll pretty much take us through that whole permitting, design and construction phase till towards the end of the year in 2026, with pushing into kind of punch list, move in late December of 2026 and maybe even a little bit into early 2027. But yeah, that's just a pretty much high level of the schedule, but the acceleration that comes with progressive design build is great, and we're definitely going to leverage it in this project. And then, all right, I will now turn it back over to Kayla to kind of talk through some budget and finish up.
Okay, so this is very summary level because we are very early in the process. And it's going to end up getting broken down into more and more detail. But essentially, the budget for the project is just over 14 million. for both hard and soft costs. And in a progressive design build, hard costs is things that's going to include your design build contractor, which is support services, their general conditions. They'll have some contingency and their fee, and that the design is part of that. In traditional contracting methods or GCCM, the design is actually fees move down to soft costs. So that's a difference here with progressive design build, is that's up in the hard cost category. And that's a little over, right now we have that a little over, or I guess 10.6 million for that. And then for soft costs, that's things like furniture, fixtures, equipment to support those spaces. It's consultant fees, like special inspectors, construction management, and then owner contingency, and other professional services, sales tax, things like that. And that's 3.5 million. So that gets you to your total 14.1 million for the overall project. And I think that is it that we have for you guys today. And like I said, like the schedule, the timeline, it's pretty basic in that, especially in that design and construction, that one bar is going to turn into a lot of bars here as the months go by. So, but at least tells you kind of our general goal for getting this work complete. So, any questions?
I just have a question. What kind of due diligence or I guess scoping are you requiring of the designers before they actually finalize a design? Because where I see this process, and it may be less risk because it's a existing building, but where I've seen this process go a little bit awry is the designers get so excited to design the building that they haven't done the locates yet and things. And then when they go out to actually do the construction, they find out their design needs to be modified or improved. So what are the, and then they don't want to change the
yeah.
design, of course, they want you to move the lines.
Yeah, well, that's a great question. And that is a huge risk in traditional methods and still with design build, but there is with the progressive design build model, because the contractor and the designer are working together, they're going to be doing some of those locates, that research into as-built. The contractors doing constructability reviews to make sure what that designer, where they're headed, they can actually build that because they're working collaboratively together as a joint venture. So that's a big benefit of going with this progressive design build.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'll begin with a comment. I'm really pleased to see progressive design build being used over the years, to see that style of thinking, dynamic, interactive, and using skills and knowledge to reduce risk and increase opportunity. That's great. So that's the sales pitch. But it's much more than a construction project. And I have an interest in education structures and buildings, is that it's what's inside the walls and what goes on flows, education techniques, education technology that's could influence the way you design the structure. And so my question is, it's often not all construction firms have that knowledge in-house. In fact, very few do.
Mm-hmm.
And very often there are specialist consultants who can advise and join the team. Where are you looking in terms of bringing in education technology into the progressive design build team?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, it's something that we've talked about, and it's something that we can work collaboratively with the design builder to see if there's specific subjects that we need to bring in a subject matter kind of expert on. I think a lot of it's gonna, part of the decision on doing that, it's gonna be based off of the architect that's selected. They may have a wealth of knowledge in that specific category, maybe they don't. And part of the qualifications kind of evaluation is something that we can definitely pay attention to and look into when we're evaluating these proposers. That's a great point. Thanks.
And mine is not nearly as intelligent as that. Is that timeline for buildings A and B?
Yes.
December 26th.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
And like we're kind of saying, things are gonna happen in phases. So if it's A before B or B before A, not sure yet, but yep.
Any other thoughts or comments? Okay.
I have a
Go ahead.
question and might not be a question. I'm with Tucker here. I like the floor plan. And I'm glad to see, obviously there's always contingency of projects. Should there be any concerns with the tariffs?
I think that there's always concerns because I mean, I feel like it changes every day at this point in time, but I think that's we hold, when you start with this contract model, you hold a pretty decent amount of contingency aside. And then as time goes on, where we understand design, we understand existing conditions, we understand the market, we can start looking at that contingency and reducing it down as a risk. So that's at the top of everybody's mind, I think.
One quick note on that, like long lead procurement is kind of discussed early on in the process here. And you can identify, electrical, mechanical, things that would potentially be impacted a little bit more and try and negotiate price locks with vendors. So just really that earlier collaboration, you can start developing those much earlier in the process, right? And start getting things on order. That way you're reducing some exposure to that impact. Not that it won't happen, but you're just going to reduce the exposure. So.
Excellent. I think it's a great time to remind not only our board, but also our community that the funding for this project is a grant fund from the state of Washington that was decided upon in the 2024 legislative session. So just as we talk about budget reduction and the work that we've done in the Wenatchee School District to manage enrollment decline, I do want to remind folks that this 14 point some odd million came from the state, and it was part of the work that Pete and the Tech Center have been working on for their 10-year planning process. And that grant approval couldn't have come at a better time when we think about the finances of our state and where we are in the 2025 legislative session. So just want to remind everybody that is there, and we are very grateful for those dollars to be able to implement for the Tech Center and for our students. I also want to thank the two of you for coming into town tonight for this presentation, and I know Matt's going back tonight. Kayla, I don't know if you are as well, but thank you for your time. Safe travels. One thing that we've really appreciated with this partnership so far is the intense collaboration that has come from this work, not only getting us to where we are now with the progressive design build, but from the beginning. And it's just been very great. So we appreciate your professionalism, your collaboration, and your guidance through these process, because for some of us, going in front of the PRC was a very new experience. Now that it's over, it was enjoyable. But there's a lot of things that we were discussing and talking about that I've learned along the way. And so we just appreciate your guidance. So thank you both very much.
Yeah, thank you. We're super excited, and there's a lot to be excited about. Can't wait to give some more updates in the future.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks.
I wanted to pop back on our agenda too, and it looks like Mrs. Devereaux has left, so we're probably not going to have a presentation from Westside at that point. So yes, everyone's like, this is a great time to, if you wanted to transition, this is your transition. So thank you all very much. We have some core PAC members that we want to wave to. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Appreciate you all being here. This is great. Okay. Bye, Paloma. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. You guys, time to move from the front row to the back. Okay, this is good. Okay. I see Harrison right on, hanging in there. Appreciate you being here, buddy. Okay.
Can't hide just by going to the front.
It just feels different though, doesn't it, Shelley? It's just, yeah. Oh, gosh. All right. Well, we will move on to our next presentation and our final special presentation for the night. So this is on our transitions program, and Liz will pull up that slide. Oh, I got to get the clicker. Hang on. Right, we will get started. Just want to thank the School Board of Directors for the time this evening. Tonight, I'm going to share with you some information about the Wenatchee School District Transitions Program, which is an incredibly inspirational program that is growing and has very unique needs that we're going to talk about this evening. Just to kind of kick it off, the Wenatchee School District Transition Program overview, or Wenatchee Valley Community Transitions, I believe is what Beth likes to call it, so thank you, is our community-based transition program in Wenatchee School District for students with disabilities. It serves students aged 18 to 22 in the Wenatchee Valley, and that age range has recently been increased, which we'll talk about a little bit more. Participants join the program to be active, to be engaged, and to be prepared community members. This is an optional continuation of the educational programming for our students on individual education plans, or IEPs, who have already served 4 years, that sounds like a sentence, who already have had a chance to experience 4 years of a high school experience. Each student's IEP team must recommend the continued services for that student. We also focus on, the program focuses on students developing transitional skills for success in the workplace and at home. And the next video, I know Beth Ann is very excited about this. Isn't it fun to see yourself on video? So the next 3.5-minute video will help us get a better idea of the program holistically. Oopsie, if I go forward. Okay. Thanks, Liz.
Wenatchee Valley Community Transitions is a program in the Wenatchee School District. All of our students are 18 to 21 years old, and they have completed 4 years of high school. They have chosen to come back to school to focus on vocational training, community access and mobility, community connections, functional daily living skills, and self-advocacy. Our program is very dependent on our community partnerships. We focus on vocational training with our students, so students are placed in jobs throughout our community that they are interested in, and our community partners provide work for our students so that they can learn how to become good employees and be a vital part of our community. We have a couple of students who currently work at Central Washington Hospital, and they have job coaches that assist them while they're at work. And our job coaches go with students throughout their shift and help them learn how to perform the tasks at industry standards. So the way every employee at the hospital is expected to do the work, our students are expected to do that same level of work. So our job coaches work with our students, but they also work with the other employees there so that those employees can learn how to make accommodations and help the student workers become more independent on their work sites. Once the hospital feels our students are able to work independently, our program job coaches will start to fade away from them, and the support will transfer from our job coaches to those natural supports in the work setting. Students in our program not only focus on vocational training, we also want to make sure that our students are comfortable navigating the community by themselves or to the greatest independence that they can. So part of our time in program, or part of their time in program, students will participate in community access training. That is where we take students into the community and they learn the link system. They learn how to navigate safely in the streets. They learn how to shop independently and participate in community activities that they choose so that they can build social awareness and learn how to do things that will bring joy to them when they're outside of school. One of the things that we like to work on with students is helping them become connected to community agencies that we have in the Valley who will provide supports to students once they leave our school system. So we connect with agencies like the Developmental Disability Administration, or DDA. We also connect with Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, or DVR. We also have students work with or learn about the local vocational agencies so that when they are ready to leave the public school system, they can have informed decision-making on which vocational agencies they would like to work with to support their work when they move away from our job coaches. We also try and help students through the community mobility training that we do. We try and help them learn how to get involved with things in the community that they can do to have that work and social life balance, because life isn't always just about work. So we want our students to understand that and be able to fill their days with things that make them happy.
Excellent and well said. It's hard to compress the entire program into 3.5 minutes, but since we had to, that was perfect. And from what I understand, the video was created and designed. Seth did this work, and he's in the transitions program and through the cinematography class. Okay, so much right there is wonderful. So as you can all see, the program hosts just a variety of positive outcomes for students that not only relate directly to workforce development, but also career-connected learning. And it also connects our students to the important community resources and agencies that you described, Beth Ann, in that video, all the acronyms of support that are part of our community. So very important there. Nope. Okay, thank you. There it was. All right. And so some of the concerns with the current program location. The program's current location is in the portables at Westside High School. It is a temporary placement, and it truly cannot accommodate the growing number of staff and students in that program. In addition, our students are requiring some increased bathroom space and ADA accessibility, which cannot be met in the current location without incurring some excessive expenses to do that. And the need for the additional bathroom space and accommodations reduces the area for instruction that would be available for students. So as we're growing in student and staff and we're decreasing in class size, it doesn't fit the need. There's only a finite amount of space here, and it would be significantly impacted with the renovations that would be needed. The use of the portables also presents challenges with new construction. Just in general, remodeling of portables can happen, but they just take a lot after continuous change. And the portables were not new to Westside when they were put there in 2013. And during the 2013 school year to, I think, the time that our transitions program moved in there, we had an early learning center that was housed there, a 3-classroom early learning center. So there's been lots of movement and remodeling in that. The other thing that we want to mention is that the transitions program has moved a bit in its lifetime as well, from the Wenatchee High School to the transitions house across the street, to the tech center, and now at Westside as well. So there's been some movement. Let's see. And a little bit on why the program has grown. Well, and the program is growing because of the opportunities that we just shared in the video there, but there's been some increases in enrollment naturally as well. The creation of the high quality career development opportunities and the partnerships for students motivates families and IEP teams to choose this direction for their students as well. And as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, some of the changes in the age requirements have also led to us being able to have students stay in the program additionally from not just up to when they turn 21, but now when they're able to remain until they turn 22. And now they're able to stay for that entire school year when they are 22. So this is a great opportunity for our students. And correct me if I'm wrong, we had 7 additional students because of that, the age change. So there it is. We also anticipate additional growth in future years as IEP teams increasingly choose this program for their students. And so with all of that said, the district feels that our transition program needs a more permanent home where they can settle in, and a home such as potentially the west wing of Columbia Elementary, as we've been talking about. We know that there is a need, and we can see the writing on the wall, and it really feels like this is the right opportunity to do what's best for our students. And so as we talk about Columbia and the thoughtful consideration of the space that's there at Columbia Elementary, The district has been and is committed to determining how best to utilize that former Columbia Elementary School building to not only expand programs, but also to serve the Wenatchee School District students in general. And I'll share the original slide that we shared with the board in August of 2024, and then also in January of 2024 about what we've committed to. We've also committed to taking this school year to study the internal needs of our programming, to prioritize the Wenatchee School District students, families, and areas of growth. We needed that time to really survey the needs of our system and where growth could be possible. In early March, it was decided to relocate Valley Academy to Columbia. Shelley, thanks for being here. And they'll occupy roughly 2/3 of the classroom space, maybe a little bit more, and then most of the common spaces as well. But that west wing remains available for occupancy with the 6 additional classrooms that we have there. And this is the slide that I shared back in August and again in January. We really wanted to make sure from the Wenatchee School District perspective that we were maintaining Columbia facility for Wenatchee School District programming and to use the building to grow enrollment as we are working through managing enrollment decline. Make sure we provide a space for indoor gym and facility use in the district, as we know that those spaces are at a premium. The facility will also continue to be a community asset inside and out. We will continue to keep it well maintained. The building will not be abandoned or boarded up. It will not be sold, and Columbia's history will not be forgotten. So those are the things that we're committed to as a district in carrying on the spaces and the student programs that will be there. And there's a lot on this slide. And Diana, thank you for organizing in a way that makes sense, because we did have 2 slides and then we're like, okay, let's do 1 slide. We'll make it more compact, but really looking at what are the benefits to us having this conversation. And 2 main themes came out of that. And one of those is addressing the space needs for growing programming and then reducing cost. So the new location offers ample space to accommodate future expansion with 6 classrooms. The central location is great for accessing employment opportunities, getting to the tech center, getting to the transition house. And we really feel like moving the transition program shows the value of the programming and our students by providing a more permanent location for those students as well. I'm excited about this part too. It allows teachers and staff to be in one location. We know the importance of collaboration in education, and we've invested a great deal of resources into the PLC process. So having both of our teachers in one space, it will allow our teachers to a chance to really work together, collaborate, and provide the education that our students need.
Corey, can
yeah.
I jump in really quick?
Please
So
jump in.
where are they right now? So if you're saying they're in one location, presumably there are multiple locations.
Yeah,
if they're not all at.
Yeah, we have
West Side.
them. We have them at West Side and the transition house, and it's more of when you're there, you're there.
Okay.
So the students that are at West Side right now are there most of their programming, unless they're out in the community, right? But that is their home base, and then the transitions program, that's their home base as well too. So our teachers are in 2 separate locations right now. So thank you for that clarification. I should have shared that. But that's the opportunity that we have with this, is to have them collaborating in one space. And we know that there'll be lots of time where our students will be out in the field and also at the transition house, but they'll come back and that will be home base for everyone. We're excited about that. We also hope to strengthen community and business partnerships through employment opportunities for youth with disabilities. And there we can free up some portable space at Westside High School for additional programming there. The other benefit is reducing costs. And so eliminating the expenses, I don't know if I should say eliminating, but lessening the expenses associated with increasing ADA bathroom space. We would still need to increase ADA accessibility at Columbia a little bit, but not to the degree that would be necessary at the West Side portables. It would be roughly about 1/5 of the cost of what it would be for us to move the program into Columbia as opposed to West Side High School. So that's something that is important for us to know and understand. We also feel like that we could be avoiding potential costs of bringing in a community partner, as we have talked about in the past, whether it's contracts or lease agreements or cost sharing complexities that happen when you bring in a partner. We would do this, and we'll do this if we continue to entertain the idea of opening it up for proposals. But we would incur costs with staff time, legal fees, and collaboration necessary to create a mutually beneficial location with a system that is not something other than the Wenatchee School District program. Okay. Community district proposal requests. In the event that the Wenatchee School District, a Wenatchee School District program was not selected to occupy the west wing of Columbia, the district had considered accepting proposals to lease that space out to the community. Relocating the transition program would allow us to proceed with moving that program staff and students to a more permanent location that we feel more appropriately supports their unique needs while continuing to engage with the community. However, in doing so, we want to acknowledge that we would be unable to accept lease proposals from the community if that were to happen. Okay, and then sharing the building. When we talk about that, we have two programs under one roof. The West Wing would be used by the transition program. There's a separate entrance and a separate parking lot that would be used for that programming. I haven't been by there to count spots because our transition program also comes with a fair share of vehicles as well. So we want to make sure that we have enough space as well. There are secure doors at the end of the hallway that'll be closed to create a separation between the two programs. We do feel that that we are working to create a functional and separate spaces for each of these programs under one roof. And then ultimately, it will be exciting to see how these two programs and the facility will complement one another and grow to maybe engage in a deeper way in the future. The district can definitely maintain a secure campus for both programs. And then I just want to share kind of my personal thoughts. And I want to thank the board for allowing the Wenatchee School District to take the time to be thoughtful about what we do with Columbia Elementary School, because I think that it has added value to Valley Academy, and hopefully it will add a great deal of value to our transitions program. But as we were looking at the proposal process and we're thinking, okay, we might have proposals from community groups, and we know we have some Wenatchee School District programs that could be interested in this as well. I actually had a conversation with Janice about this in the fall, and I thought, wow, be thinking about this. This could be a great opportunity. And then as we got more kind of solidified in this idea that we were going to do the community proposals, I was still encouraging it and thinking, okay, we could have a proposal from the transitions program. We might have a CTE proposal because Jake thinks about everything and always has a great idea. And then we could have these community proposals as well. And so that was where my thinking was until I heard about the increase in numbers, the growth, and more importantly, the needs of the students that were coming into the program. And so it really helped kind of shape my thinking as well. Because I think at first I was like, well, no, we have to do the community proposals. And anyway, I think my thinking that has changed was we're in the business of the Wenatchee School District students, and we need to make sure that we're maintaining and looking out for the needs of all of our students. The plan is to bring this conversation back to the board on May 13th for discussion and potential action. But I would answer any questions, concerns, or maybe celebrations that any of the board members might have, or if I need to bring back some more information after I do some research as well.
Can you remind us what kind of funding we get for the transitions program, so that, because I assume growth of the program would be good for the district? I will,
thank you. I'm still hot. Okay. We do get funding for all of our students. As the changes were happening from 21 to 22, there was a year where we got funding until they turned 22. And then literally it was kind of like, we need to we need to do something different at that point. And now that legislation has changed, so we get funding throughout the year of their that they turn 22. I will tell the board that it's an expensive program. And we have a lot of para educators that are involved in that, but it's necessary for the work. But we are funded at a good ratio, and we're excited about maybe some potential caps being removed in the legislation for special education funding. So that's always a good thing. Sean, what else should I say there? Did that help answer your question? Okay. Okay, thank you. Appreciate
So
that.
my question was,
Yeah.
we talked about having 4 years of high school before they can enter the program. Is that anywhere? Or is this like known students that the district has? It seems like that having a relationship with these students is important to understand, who's coming through, what needs they're gonna have. So if you have someone coming in at 18 and being like, did 4 years of school, I really should in the transition program, is that an option?
Right. I don't think it's an option as we currently exist in the model that we're currently using. There are other programs that do have a more holistic approach and do accept students from other places. Eastmont does have a transitions program. I know that Cascade and Kashmir would love to help some of their students come down here or go over there, but that is not currently how our model works. Yeah, thank you.
To me, it makes sense that I'm aware that the transition program has been in hunt for a new place for the last couple of years. I'm very well aware. So to me, it makes complete sense why I guess I'm not sure why we would, if there's a need for our students in the district, why not? Why would we give the community an opportunity? Not that that's a bad thing, but our students, we're here to serve our students, and there's a need. And I get it. There's a cost involved. It is an expensive program to run. But to me, it just makes a lot of sense to keep the facility to serve our students. I know there is a lot of interest in Columbia for the community aspect of it. But again, I fully understand what your personal opinion, and I agree completely.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it makes sense, kind of like we moved them to West Side, which was one of our facilities. So if there's a need and that's not suitable, it makes sense they'd get first shot at one of our facilities versus bringing somebody else in and then making improvements that we need to make anyway to these other facilities. So intuitively, it makes sense. It would be nice to know just additionally some of the cost comparisons between the improvements there and the improvements here, because I mean, if we can keep them there and make it a usable space and still get a lease income, I mean, I know that's not our main reason for it, but just putting that out there so that the community understands that this just makes sense to move our, we don't want to keep moving everything around to all of our buildings, but using our building for essentially our program makes sense. The only other concern I had is with the amount of improvements. They sound pretty small to Columbia, but at some point, do we get worried about losing compliance with building permits, codes, and things that we currently maybe don't have to worry about because it's an older building and we're grandfathered in, but once we hit a certain improvement threshold, now everything's got to be built to newest, highest code standards?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thank you both. I really appreciate your comments there. And I'll address the dollars and cents first. From a rough estimate standpoint, the needs and the costs that would be associated with the portables at Westside is about $25,000. And then for us to address the same needs at Columbia Elementary is about $5,000, and those are keeping up with current standards and codes right now, which is great. So not only is it a more permanent location, but it's value added with the costs that are associated with that, from what I understand. And I also just want to share that Maria, you summarized it very well. And what I just want to make sure is I'm just very aware and uniquely understanding that I really want to make sure that the Wenatchee School District does what it says it's going to do. And in this case, we told the community that we were going to go out for proposals and we prepared that. And I just want our community to recognize that we have a need for our students and it is the best place for them to go. Otherwise, we would still be continuing with that plan. So thank you. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, no, and I totally agree. I mean, we've chatted about people calling me about what's gonna happen with the space, how do they get access to it, et cetera. But Beth has been at the college. We've tried at the college to look for a space, so I'm well aware that this has been an ongoing issue for the last couple of years. I also had the honor of working here when it was at the house and to see how much it's grown. It's a great service for our community, for our parents.
I have one more question. So are we is West Side gonna be able to expand into those portables? I mean, is that freeing up space at their building that they're gonna be able to utilize as well? Or is that?
I don't want to speak to the programming growth because I have not talked specifically with Mrs. Devereaux. However, they have used those buildings in the past, especially on Mondays when they do some different academic programming. They have Monday Fun Day. Is it? Music is what's out there. Okay, but they do because Westside isn't able to offer as many elective opportunities as Wenatchee High School, they use Monday's different schedule to offer more elective opportunities. So I know they were coming out into the portable there. Westside can always utilize the space. I don't know if it will, if we have not asked about growth specifically, but they'll definitely use the space. Yep. Thank you.
I think it's a very reasonable position to take, and I'm putting it that way. I appreciate the fact because it is something, somewhat of a change in plan, new opportunity, that it's being done in a two-step process with time to pause and consider and to have additional input. And I appreciate that technique.
Okay, well, thank you so much for the time and I appreciate the opportunity and we have 3 weeks before the next board meeting, which is always interesting. So we'll be back on May 13th and do a quick summary and then have some discussion and potential action on that. So appreciate that. Next up, let me move over to some notes here is superintendent's report. It's been a fun week.
No. Get out of here.
You're right.
I have an action.
I'm going to stop talking for a
Yeah.
little bit.
No,
This is
you can take a
great.
break. Have some water. Okay. All right. So the real next thing on our agenda is the election of a new board vice president to fill the unexpired term of Miranda Skaliski, who resigned from the board in March. Do I hear any nominations for vice president of the Wenatchee School District Board to serve the remainder of the term through December 2025?
Yes, I have a nomination. I nominate Maria Inigas to assume the position that is currently vacant of vice president.
Okay, Maria has been nominated. Are there any other nominations? All right, hearing none, we're going to do a roll call vote for Maria to serve as the vice president of the Wenatchee School District Board until December 2025. Martin, you get to start.
Aye.
Okay, Maria.
Aye.
All right. Mark.
Aye.
All right. Julie.
Aye.
And I also vote aye. So I guess we only had to do 3, but we did all 5. So, so Maria, you guys have received the majority of votes and therefore will assume the office of vice president of the board. Congratulations. And now, superintendent report.
Back into it. Okay. Thank you, Maria. All right. Excellent. Just reminding everyone that we'll be hosting community forum for our athletic director on Thursday at 7:00 in the Wenatchee High School New Commons. The community forum will be following 3 separate interviews for each of the candidates, Wenatchee School District staff, parents, community, students, and there'll be our school board members, Julie and Maria, will be representing. So thank you. We look forward to seeing our community get to hear from potentially one of them will be our new athletic director. So we're excited about that. Also today, Diane and I had the distinct pleasure of hanging out at Wenatchee High School and participating in the Avid sophomore interviews, which was a great process. We were supposed to take on the persona of local retail stores interviewing our Avid students for a sales associate position. We had 11 questions to choose from and about 10 minutes with each student, and it was fantastic. The students were dressed to impress. They had practiced their interview skills. They gave us resumes and recommendations, folks that would. God, why am I I can't spit it out. Yeah, they had letters of recommendation as well too. So it was great. Wonderful hour for us to spend. We also had a big day of excitement in Mission View Elementary. The Wenatchee Bighorns and Samaritan's Feet Shoe Distribution Program were on site to literally give every single student a new pair of shoes. So there were 500 pairs of shoes laid out on a table, and they were each size to each individual student at Mission View Elementary. And it was great. So Jeff Jager was literally, it was like he was hosting a WWF event. He called every single student's name with gusto. And he probably is not talking at all tonight. And he's got a throat lozenge and he's going to be taking care of himself. But the students funneled through this high five tunnel of Bighorn players and cheerleaders. And it was super fun. And just to see the kindergartners run through that, those Bighorn players are tall. And then they there was adult paired up with each individual student because they'd come down by classroom and grade level. And so I was able to help a couple of students try on their new pair of shoes, and we fit them, and their old shoes would go in a little string backpack with their name on it that they'd be able to take home. It was just really great. So, and then they would head over to have their Mission View t-shirts signed by the Bighorn players. So that was kind of a big deal. So super fun day at Mission View. Let's see. Cell phone focus group. We have a 10-member cell phone focus group that we're working with. We're learning together. They're offering a great deal of valuable feedback to the district as we look at a way that we can better align to our cell phone policy and limit unnecessary distractions in the classroom. We had our second meeting last week where a representative from the Yonder Pouch company came and shared how their tools and programs support increased engagement and lessening of social interaction. We have a third meeting that's coming up next Wednesday. So just letting the community and the board know about that. I also want to just thank you and welcome School Board Director Mark Belton. Thank you for being with us today and joining us. We're thrilled to have your expertise and thank you for your volunteerism. All right, and that's it for the superintendent's report.
All right, board communication. I'm gonna start this side, so Mark, you get it last. So Maria. Nothing. Okay, it's coming fast. Julia. Oh, all right. Martin, you're usually good for something.
Yeah, I want to welcome my new friend here. Mark, welcome to the table. That's great. No, I have nothing except I do have one promotion that Consumer Jungle Financial Literacy Program with Yaset is on at Westside tomorrow in the afternoon. And that will be great, a great program. Thursday, yeah, Thursday, not Wednesday, yeah. Wednesday is me doing the victim of interviews at Avid.
Right. They're interviewing you?
Yeah, I'm the same as Corey does, yeah. Avid, as you know, is such an amazing program of academic and character leadership and skills in survival. So, yeah. But no, I think it's really exciting that Westside has their financial literacy consumer jungle program, and that's going to be great.
Mark, you're up.
I just wanted to say thank you for having me today, and I'm excited to see all the great things that Wenatchee School District can do.
All right, yeah, welcome officially. I'm glad we have a full complement of board members now, and congratulations to our new VP, Maria. And other than that, I think that's it. So, meeting adjourned.